Well, let's change gears slightly. It is a Friday evening after all. Fashion Week has grown in popularity over the years. It's also opened doors for aspirant young designers. But what does it really do for their brands? Tonight, we talk to Mzansi's King of Fashion, David Tlale. He'll tell us about the glitzy event and his Nelson Mandela Centenary collection that he'll also be showcasing this weekend. David, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for making time for us on this Friday evening. You're very busy getting ready for the weekend. Perhaps take us through the motions of what a big weekend like this means for you.
Sure. For us as a brand, it means a lot. And I mean, having to conceptualize a collection to celebrate the centenary for such a gigantic icon, it's been like a roller coaster, and it's not a thought that came in 2 weeks ago. It's been going on for the past 6 months when we conceptualized to showcase at African Fashion International Showcase this weekend. And we're going to take people on a journey of the life of Madiba, the favorite quotes from Madiba. And also we have different segments into the collection, about 6 stories that we're going to be telling. And we hope people in South Africa and the world at large will be enjoying this collection.
How difficult is it to almost, tell that social, political, democratic story? Because that's really Nelson Mandela's story, right? And almost find a way of giving it expression in the form of fashion and in the form of clothes. Like what do you work with? Is it color? Is it fabrics? Is it... You're the guy in charge. What do you turn to?
What I do, I just I always say to people, fashion and politics or any aspect of life, it's never disjoint. It's always connected. Whether you are a policeman, you wear fashion. You may not see it as fashion, but it's fashion because somebody had to design that uniform, somebody had to develop the fabric, somebody had to sit and sew that, and all that requires skill. And we looked at many aspects of how politics have evolved and how it has shaped our current lifestyle, where we are right now as South Africans, as Africans. And then we go beyond just what politics has done. We look at the life of Madiba and how much of a fashionista he was. Many people think he wasn't. I mean, you look at his trench coats that he put and his pants with like 2 pleats. You look at all those details. And then we touch into the life of Mama Winnie Mandela and how she became the superhero for the Duke. And now everybody's just like wearing a Duke and it's like really fantastic. And we touch on Mama Sisulu's life as well. We look at Steve Biko's life. So all these people, they had a direct impact or I would say inspiration that we drew from into building this collection.
You've already established yourself as a brand in South Africa. You make clothes for the who's who in the country. And
like you?
No. How dare you put me on the
spot? I had to.
Like that. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be working as hard as you are, or at least that's the perception.
That's your perception.
So every year that you have a showing and you take it as seriously as you do, why?
It's because, as a brand, David Tlale, we take ourselves as I would say, game changer. And because as South Africa, we have evolved. We used to be a country with possibilities, and now we are inspiring new ways of doing things. And as a brand, we want to be part of the journey that evoked, I would say, thinking process or thought process when a young designer wants to become a designer and want to present their collections like, ooh, but David did it this way. Why can't I do it that other way? So it's important that we tell a different narrative every season and make sure that we set the standard, not just for ourselves, but for the continent, because I believe we have to get out of our woods and just show the world what we have as South Africans, because we believe as South Africans we have it going, and that's why we pride ourselves with product that is proudly made in South Africa by South Africans and telling the narrative of what South Africa has to offer to the world.
All right, tell us about the Curated African Fashion Emporium, the cafe as it's been called.
Cafe is a concept where, we have the intern by David Tlale. So the designers that graduate from the intern, they become part of Cafe, and where we expose them now into the retail world. and hopefully they will be selling in our local retailers, and making sure that now they become profitable. Because yes, you have intent, and then what's next? The next level is to say now your product is available, you are producing, and you are becoming profitable, and you are understanding the business of fashion, because it goes beyond just showcasing the designers. I mean, we're showcasing the likes of Siphosihle Masango, Keletso Moraba, and Ayanda Mthembu, and Kyla Gonzalez. And I think these designers are going to do an amazing presentation tomorrow, because we partnered with Brother, which is technologically giving us more than what we think, like embroidery, the cotton scans and everything else. It's like really, really amazing. And the journey has been like fantastic to see these designers have grown from where we started to where we're going.
Now, I've seen you firsthand with young designers, and you can be quite tough and mean.
Kathy, I'm a very, very nice person, as you may know, and as we shall tell the world that I'm a nice person.
I'm going to come back to it, because there may be method in your madness, I don't know. But you drive quite a hard bargain, and on some end, it is difficult for young designers who are new to the industry to make sense. Why are you so hard on them?
I believe nobody, when I started my brand, nobody mentored me. I had to mentor myself. And building a brand, David Tlale, over the past 16 years has never been an easy ride. Nothing was given to me on a silver platter. I had to work hard. I still work hard until today. You may think it's just like me waking up and being fabulous and just wearing shades and taking a bow. No, we put in the hard work, we put in the effort, and making sure that, the product, when it goes out there, I don't have to be there to advocate for it. It has to advocate itself to the public that we are a David Tlale product. So we have to impart the same skill of hard work to young designers, because everybody thinks like, oh, I can be a designer. I'm able to put two fabrics together, and I have a tailor who can. If you don't understand what neckline suppression is about, you're going to have big problems. If you don't understand the power of a notch and a grain line, you're going to have problems in your life, like continuously, because your product will always be ill-fitting, it will be hanging wrong, it won't be finished properly. So it's very, very important that you instill, I would say, an ethos or aspect of like, you have to work hard to make it in life.
And there's also the reality that even though you're a big brand, you're still having to compete with other international brands. And,
absolutely.
I was at a summit recently, and one of the points being driven there was that South Africans find it difficult to support local brands. We heard the president talking about it, urging everybody to wear proudly South African. Why is it still such a struggle?
It's a struggle because, I mean, I believe over the years we've been brainwashed that anything that has gone through customs or through immigration is right, and we never believe in our own. So we as a new generation who have, I would say, 100 times harder, we need to work 100 times harder to convince people that it's okay to buy a David Tlale product or a Tula Cindy or Maxhosa or whoever, because it's proudly made in South Africa. And we understand, I would say, the proportions and the making of men and women in South Africa, and we cater for your needs. And also we have to make sure that we start learning and embracing the power of collaborations. I mean, this is what I also try to teach my young designers, to say there's power in collaboration. I mean, we have collaborated with so many brands. Currently, I'm an influencer for Courvoisier South Africa, and it's like really amazing to see how we're elevating local brands with international brands so that we have international relevance in everything that we do. And it's very, very important that we keep doing this. And the platforms like African Fashion International, they give us opportunity to showcase what we are capable of doing as brands. So thus, we have to make sure that we nurture the young designers to say, support each other, collaborate, empower one another, and become a great brand.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you wear?
I wear David Tlale. Hello.
Are you wearing
David excuse me, who are you wearing?
Are you wearing David Tlale right now?
Oh, darling.
The proof is in the pudding. So this weekend...
Wait, who are you wearing? I know it's your interview.
Myself. I'm wearing myself. This
is
me.
Really?
Yes.
When are you wearing David Tlale again?
David, this is not your interview. It's my interview.
It's our interview. Yourself. It's Friday night.
Okay, so this weekend, who gets to come to your shows? Do we just show up at the door? And if we do, which store do we need to show up at? And what do we need to have? Just so that we can be, I think, not just see part of what you've come up with this year, but also support that young and upcoming talent that you've been speaking about.
I think tomorrow night, tomorrow during the day, you can, visit Melrose Arch, that's where the tents are, to support the young designers. You can go to AFI's website, AfricanFashionInternational.com, and buy your tickets. If you haven't gotten yourself a ticket, Kathy, it's very important to buy a ticket from time to time. And then for David Tlale people or lovers, it's always, number one, we always say the criteria is not about the bloggers. The criteria is about our customers, the people that help us to keep the lights on and keep going, as a brand. That's what we do the shows for, the media and friends of the brand and the partners that we actually collaborate with. So it's very, very important that you just follow us on Instagram and see what we do. And you want to find out more how to get the David Tlale ticket, go on our Instagram.
All right, go onto the Instagram.
Yes.
Page. All right. How dare you put me on the spot? On my own show, my show, not your show. And technically, it's not any of our show. It's Jane Dutton's show. That was fashion design.
Are you coming to my show?
Of course I'll have to come
Both
now that you've put me on the spot.
Absolutely, darling.
David